Hello, my name's Sean Stevens of a global listed infrastructure organization. Welcome to the latest edition of the GLIO CEO interview series. Today, we're joined by Svetlana Barthelemy of GIC and Marco Patuano, the CEO of Cellnex. So let's hand over to Svetlana and Marco.
Hello, and welcome to the GLIO feature interview with Cellnex. My name is Svetlana Barthelemy from GIC, and I have the pleasure of being joined here today by Marco Patuano, who needs no introductions as the CEO of Europe's largest tower company, Cellnex. Marco, thank you for joining us today. And maybe to start with, can you spend a few minutes introducing the company, its various business segments, and also key highlights of your business model?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Svetlana. Thank you to all the participants. A tower company is an infrastructure company for digital communication, basically for mobile operators. We make 80% of our revenues renting space on towers, mostly to mobile network operators. We operate in 10 countries, 5 large countries, which make 80% of our revenues. So those in order of magnitude, France, Italy, UK, Spain, and Poland, and 5 smaller countries, which are Portugal, Netherlands, Switzerland, Denmark, and Sweden. We just performed the sale of 2 smaller countries, which were Ireland and Austria. The sale is in the process of being completed, and between the end of this year and Q1 next year, it's going to be completed. So where is the remaining 20% of our revenues? There are, let's say, other 3 lines of business. One line of business is active equipment. So when there are special circumstances in which deploying a mobile network, one per operator, is not efficient or has not a good return on investment or technically is not feasible, we produce a so-called neutral network. I make an example so everybody understands. In the subway, you cannot have the antennas of 4 operators, so we create a neutral network, and then we rent not only the towers, but in this case, the entire service of connectivity to mobile operators. Another line of business is fiber. We have dark fiber, so we don't provide fiber to the end user. It's a connectivity fiber that is B2B or very big B2B. So our clients are not eventually even the medium-sized enterprise. We're talking about very big companies or operators. And we perform this business in some countries, not in all the countries. France is the largest. Spain and Poland are the ones where we have a good deployment. The last line of business is very specific. We do only in 2 countries, which are Spain and the Netherlands, which is broadcasting. Again, we are very close to the tower business, but in this case, the tower don't transmit the signal of the mobile operator, but the television or radio signal. It's a very delicate service because you can easily imagine that we have a service level that have to be maintained that are super strict. Because creating a blackout of the TV signal generates panic quite easily. So it's a very delicate segment in which we are, I would say, among the best in Europe.
Thank you, Marco. And you've now been at the helm of Cellnex, obviously, for more than 18 months. In that time, you've made already a lot of changes. So you've brought the company to investment grade. You've continued to deliver and drive strong organic growth. And you also executed a number of successful asset sales. What would you say has been the largest change for the company since you've taken charge? And also, what are your priorities for the business in the near term?
Let's allow me to give you just a couple of numbers to give you a sense of our magnitude. We make approximately 4 billion in terms of revenues. We have a profitability, namely EBITDA after lease, in the region of 60%. But we have enormous capex because we still have programs that have been agreed with our clients, which count a sort of 2 billion a year of capex. So these are big numbers, who we are. The company possibly has been the subject who took profit in the best possible way of the zero interest rate scenario. So the inorganic growth during the period between 2018 and 2022 has been marvelous, incredible. More than 40, you hear well, acquisitions in such a limited number of years. So we can say that the company was so engaged in expanding the portfolio that the time for making a strong asset rationalization or a strong action on processes and industrial processes was, let me say, a second priority. The first priority was expanding. Now, at the end of 2022, with the interest rates going up and honestly, with less portfolio available for large acquisitions, the company find itself in a strange territory. On one side, a bit too much debt, and so not investment grade. And on the other side, the growth was not coming from inorganic adventures, but it has to be from organic, and it has to be not only on the revenue, but more than proportionally from revenues, from EBITDA, from the recurrent level free cash flow and the free cash flow. So the priority number one has been kick off the industrial model and to rationalize the portfolio. When you make 40 acquisitions, it's fairly normal that some of the acquisitions can be not really spot on, but it was part of a bigger deal. So this was important. And at the same time, some of the countries were a bit subscaled. So we made at the same time two things. With half of the team, we were fixing the operations. And with the other half of the team, which, by the way, is the same team, we were making asset simplification and asset rotation. Going forward, more industrial approach, even more industrial approach. And the next chapter of our story is to transform the more abundant financial resources, and not only for capex, but also for shareholder remuneration.
Okay, thank you. Sounds good. Thank you, Marco. So maybe if you look forward and think about the industry trends and the growth drivers for your company. So obviously there are rapid advancements in technology, and demand for mobile data is continuing to increase. But do you also see that on the telco side? Are they investing more, prioritizing 5G and densification? And also, how do you see the role of tower infrastructure evolving to address that demand?
5G is happening. Even we can say that in Europe, different countries have been moving at different speed. There are some countries where the 5G is more deployed. To mention some, so I refer to the geographic Europe and not to EU as economic subject. Netherlands and Switzerland, they have very nice 5G networks, but when you go to other countries like England sometime or Poland sometime, or you see that the quality of the ultra mobile network is not always where it should be. So yes, there is a wave of investment that is ongoing. This wave of investment benefits somehow by the fact that fiber investments are more advanced. So MNOs are investing now again on the mobile networks, but they have some financial constraint. They still have financial constraint. So what is the role of the tower to make those investment efficient? Towers are for sharing. A tower is not made for one. A tower is made for be shared. And these make their effort in deploying more network more affordable in terms of financial investment. And this can be not only very beneficial for the MNOs, but also for the clients and why not for the citizens.
And I guess in that context, what do you see as Cellnex's key opportunities for growth and for value creation? And namely, I'm thinking, adjacencies and potentially RAN ownership and other levels.
Yeah, sure. Exactly what I was saying at the beginning. So we started basically making in the industry we call passive infrastructure. A passive infrastructure is an infrastructure without any kind of electronics on board. So it was a sort of real estate. Instead of renting a building, we were renting a space on a tower, which, by the way, is the way this industry was born in the late 90s in the United States. It was a real estate business. Now, progressively, instead of just managing a passive infrastructure, if you want, also a fiber can be a passive infrastructure, because until when I don't put routers and I, technically speaking, illuminate the fiber, it's a passive infrastructure. Now, we are very selectively entering in the active component. I underline the very selectively for two good reasons. First, I'm not a competitor of my clients. So every time my client, which is BT or Vodafone or Telefonica or Orange or whoever, want to make their investment, I will not replicate. I will not compete on infrastructure. Competition is a poor allocation of scarce financial resources. But there are moments in which the operators are not there, and we can represent for them a solution. And in this sense, it is fast growing. It's growing approximately 20 to 25% a year, which is big numbers.
Good to hear. Good to hear. And maybe switching gears a little bit. So one of the key questions, and if you turn it to investors, I think one of the key questions on investor mind right now is market structure and potential for consolidation, across your customer base. I guess what impact does that have on Cellnex and other towercos? If you could share your perspectives on this topic.
Yeah. It's something that possibly today is more under the spotlight because we see big mergers of operators. Today it has just been approved, the merger between Vodafone and Three UK. But in reality, if you make a step back and instead of looking to the merge of the operator, you look at the merge of the networks of the operator, this is something that is existing since years. In the UK, Vodafone and VMO2 are sharing the network in rural areas. The same in Spain, Vodafone and Orange. In France, Bouygues and SFR. In Italy, Win3 and Iliad. So all across Europe, operators are sharing networks already. So the big MNO consolidation not necessarily something that our industry has not experienced already. Now, when it's very interesting why MNO tend to consolidate. They tend to consolidate in order to be more efficient, having larger customer base. In general terms, European MNOs are relatively small to reach good synergies, good economy of scale. And normally, they try to have synergies, especially on the network. But why to have synergies on the network? Well, part of the synergies of the network is is due to the fact that they need to invest more because they need to create more quality. So let me put easily, if with the right hand I lose something with the optimization of an existing network, the resources that they make available are going to be invested in more network. All in all, for us is a relatively zero event. But I understand that this is something that has to be explained very well. On top of these, there are plenty of other arguments that go more in the legal ground. Our contracts are made on a so-called all or nothing. So the contracts are very long. Our contracts last 10, 12, 15, up to 30 years. And you cannot just walk away because you tell me that you have finished your interest. There are contractual obligations that have to be maintained. But having a unsatisfied client is not our goal. Our goal is if you go and if you want to merge, okay, let's find a solution. We give you flexibility and you give us the densification that you're going to make. And the result we already experienced in the UK, in Spain, in Italy. It's ordinary course of business for us.
Okay, that's reassuring. And maybe another top of mind question for investors is of course around capital allocation and
Yes.
shareholder remuneration. And you've also been talking about that quite a lot recently. And so maybe you can share the company's latest thinking on this topic.
Yeah, sure. For many years, the company has been a growth company, which is not the natural place for a tower company. Normally, a tower company is not a fast-growing animal. It's more a yield with decent growth, with growth that beats systematical inflation, but it's not an explosive growth company. Well, as I told you before, we have been an explosive growth company because we invested very significantly in inorganic expansion. Now, when we turned from 2020, in 2022, we decided to make a sort of a 180-degree turn in our strategy. We had to face the reality that priority one was to delever the company. So we simply could not duly remunerate our investors, which for 2 long years have been with no growth and no yield, which is not really the best position for an investor, because you have to ask them to be patient, that we are going to deliver the yield, but until 2024, it has not been the case. So it's time 2025 is a strategic priority for us to compensate our shareholder base. The sector has a clear, metrics for what our peers are paying is very clear, and we cannot be different, and we will not be different. So there is a big debate in this moment if resources are going to make available in 2025, which will be the case. Are we going to allocate those resources in dividends or possibly in a share buyback? This is a big second question on our capital allocation. Today, every analyst on earth will tell you that our share price is undervalued. And I'm absolutely convinced that it's an incredible opportunity today to start a share buyback program. But we are conscious that some of the investors that are looking to the tower sector are also interested in dividends. We made a clear promise that starting from 2026, our shareholder remuneration will include a minimum component of dividend of 500 million, growing at 7.5% a year, which is not the entire amount we're going to pay. This is what we committed in dividend. So if we start in 2025, as of today, I think that share buyback are more value accretive, but never know.
Okay. Great. And maybe a last question on from an investor standpoint, what do you think is the biggest thing that investors might be missing right now about the Cellnex story?
I think that everybody is waiting for the shareholder return catalyst. This is something that everybody understood perfectly. We have to be honest. We are a management team that has been reset only 18 months ago. So we are delivering constantly, but we are delivering since 6 quarters, which is a good track record, but not a very long track record. So I think that it's fair that investors are waiting for the materialization of the shareholder remuneration. So this is not something that they are not understanding. Simply, we have to be fair as a management team and as a board of directors that it's a fair attitude of the market. There is something that I think the market is underestimating. If you take any analyst model, medium to long-term model, not the short-term, but the medium to long-term, they give us a sort of 2.5 growth rate as the growth rate of the terminal value. You know how much is important terminal value in an infra company. And I think that is quite underestimated. We transfer almost perfectly inflation to our clients. So let's say that in the future, we stay in a modest inflation environment, let's say 2%. So 2% is coming from inflation, or 1.8% is coming from, but if 1.8% is coming from inflation, then you give me 2.3% or 2.4% long-term growth. It means that I'm not growing at all. I'm just growing by inflation, which is not what I told you. There is a small cell, there is more network, there is the densification, there are a lot of things that we're going to do. And I think that this is something that is a bit unperceived.
Right. And maybe a last question, how can people and investors find more information about Cellnex? Where shall we look?
It's quite simple. On our website, in the section of investor relations, so www.cellnextelecom.com, in the section investor relation, or even more fruitfully, send an email to our investor relation, and if you want to have specific answers on specific points, we answer 100% of the questions we receive. It's a mantra. We don't leave even a single question without answer, and it's going to be the case. So this is the easy way to do it.
Great. Well, this is a great place to wrap up, Marco. Thank you very much for your insights and for your time. And thank you, GLIO, for organizing, and thank you to the audience for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you to you, Svetlana, and thank you to everybody who is on the line. Thank you.
Thank you, Svetlana and Marco, for that fascinating interview. That brings us to the end of our 2024 series of interviews, but we'll be starting again in the new year, and we'll hope that you will be joining us then. Goodbye.